years ago. Live life away from it all, to have some sheep, maybe a cow or two, with cats and dogs and goats and an occasional moon. With our love for God, we can't go wrong. Our love can only continue to grow strong. Doesn't matter the difficult roads, it's true, for we have each other and love will carry us through. We came from another time, a time when dreams were bold, another time when values took hold. You couldn't give up hope, for it was always there. Another time we fared to do.
Say hi. Hi. Wait.
We came from another time, a time when dreams were bold, another time when values took hold. You couldn't give up hope, for it was always there. Another time we fared.
I'm glad.
Came from another time, a time when dreams were bold, another time when values took hold. You couldn't give up hope, for it was always there. Another time we fared.
Put the pod in the tent with me in the kids. And her feed. I'm at it again. I always love seeing Jackson Brown at the end.
Yeah, he's awesome. Is that your goal?
He was, but we raised him from a bottle baby, but
Oh,
they serve a purpose.
yes, they do. They do. All the animals do.
Yeah. But I want to welcome everybody in. If I'm a little blurry, I am so sorry. I'm having problems with my camera and the focus on it. I've changed it 900 times. I don't want to mess with it again because
Yeah.
I'm afraid it's just going to take me out entirely. So I have
Yes.
to get a new camera.
Technology. Gotta
Yeah,
love it.
technology. Hi, I just want to say hi to everybody. We have a special guest tonight. You can all see. Jan from Simply Jan Homesteads. Hi, Joe. How are you? Penny, how are you doing? We have Heather from Milk and Honey Heritage Farms. Ariella, hi. How are you? And Robin from Garden State So-and-so. I love that name, by the way.
Yes.
And Stephen, hello. How are you? Ann, hi, Ann. Jennifer Ocean Homestead, how are you doing? And that's who I have in the chat. I don't know if you have any additional ones in the chat that I missed.
I am not
wanna-
co-streaming this.
Oh, you're not.
No, I
welcome
can.
too. Yeah, you're welcome too on your channel.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Oh, yeah.
I will
sure.
add it to it. Oops.
Hi, Paul. How are you doing? Yeah, while she's getting that set up, I just want to say thank you for all of you coming in tonight and welcome in. We have Ginger from Notfornothing Homestead in here tonight, and
Yes.
we're going to be talking about growing up in another time,
Yeah.
and some other things. We'll talk about some of the upcoming collaborations, and of course the meetup that's coming up June 6th through the 8th. That's going to be at Pomme de Terre State Park. It is the Ozark meetup hosted by Jan from Simply Jan's Homestead and myself and Gail from Gail's Southern Living. And we're going to have so much fun. And there's another video coming out tonight. At least I posted one that'll come out at midnight with the jam contest. So tells you a little bit. Just make favorite jam, bring 2 jars of jam, and we're just going to have a blast at that meetup. So please, if you haven't decided and you're like still on the fence, jump off the fence and come on over to our side and come see us, because we'd love to have you there. We would. We'd love to have everyone there, and it's just going to be so much fun. And if I look a mess tonight, yeah. If I'm a mess tonight, it's because I was out moving my dogs right before this live, and it's hot and humid and sticky. And
Amen. I'm right there with you.
You can't see it, but my black stretch pants are now white from my Great Pyrenees. They're losing all their fluff.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah. So anyway,
it has been a nice warm day today.
It really has been. It really has been.
I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it has been a nice warm day, and I have been playing with some hay and some straw, because I usually prefer to get straw for my chicken pens because it absorbs more water.
Yeah.
So I get straw, but then I was at the feed store and the guy was like, "Hey, there's some loose hay over there at the end of that trailer." They usually back up a semi and shuck the semi. And he was like, "If you want any of it." And I was like, "Heck yeah, I'll get some. If it's free, it's for me, right?"
Yeah. Same here. Hi, Christy and Holly. Welcome in. Well, we're going to start this off with one of the viewers wanted to know about blue sunflower seeds, if they're edible and if you can roast them.
I do not know. This is my first time growing them, and they were actually a gift to me that was sent to me. And I wanted to get them germinated as quickly as I could, because I already had some that were like way up, that needed to go in the ground. And I said, I want to plant all these different color sunflowers in one pen. And so let me get these germinated as quick as I can. A few days later, maybe almost even a week too, I got some chocolate ones. No, it was just a couple days later. I got some chocolate ones, and I was like, well, yeah, I'm going to do that too. So I germinated. So both of those were like small compared to all the others that I had already germinated way back, like 2 months ago. So I put them all in together. So we're all going to figure it out together. I mean, I'll keep you guys posted for sure, because today again was a nice hot day. We've had probably 3 or 4 days in a row where we've had a lot of rain. So they've gotten good and watered in, and they got some sunshine today. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that whole little pen come to life with all these different colors. I can't wait.
How wonderful is that? That's awesome. Yeah, I think I might order some too. I wanted to plant some sunflowers this year, and I just haven't got around to it, but I will. I probably still can, so I might
My
as
favorite
well.
thing about sunflowers is they always tilt the way the sun is. It's like they're always looking for the light. Every part of the day, they move with the sun, and they're so pretty. They remind me of my grandmother when I was little. She lived in Virginia. That's actually where I was born. And she had a really old house with a wraparound porch, and it was awesome. And right on one side of her house, she always had a field of sunflowers that she planted. So
Wow.
I kind of always do that. It makes me think of my grandma all the time.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, we have a big sunflower patch, not on our property, but the
Mhm.
property next to us,
Uh-huh.
way out in the back field. And so you can see it from our house every year. So it's really nice, but I want to grow my own.
They have,
And
oh, sorry.
that's okay. I was just going to say, Anne said that she's growing the mammoth sunflowers and smaller ones too. She got from Adrian.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Very good. Oh, Anne lives in Virginia. I didn't
Oh,
know
yeah.
that. Well, Anne, I was born in Waynesboro, Virginia. So I'm not sure where you live currently, but that is where I was born, a little town called Waynesboro, Virginia. So, and there's my brother Jesse from Lazy Days Ahead.
Hi,
That
Jesse and Lisa. How are you doing?
is who I got the blue sunflowers from,
Is it?
and the chocolate ones too.
Oh, how
'Cause
awesome.
Lisa and Jesse, they know I absolutely love sunflowers. It's just like my thing, and that's the reason it's my avatar. My avatar is actually a sunflower a picture that I took of a sunflower the very first year we moved to our property that I started gardening, which was like maybe the next year, the next like spring. And I grew it and I took a picture of it sideways because there was a bee that's hovering right
Oh,
in the center, and the center was like that big, and he's like
wow.
hovering right in the center, just getting all the goodies out of there. And I just thought that was such a pretty picture. So anyways,
That's awesome.
oh,
That's
she's
cool.
between Richmond and Williamsburg. I know where you're from. Oh, good, good, good. That's cool. That is really cool.
That is really cool. So, that being said, let's talk about how your channel came to be and what prompted you to start a channel and your content.
um, I actually I was just doing a lot of stuff around here, and I watched a lot of channels. That's how we all start. We all start as, a viewer. And so I watched a lot of channels, and I was talking with my husband, Joey, Joe Fix It For You. He's over there in the chat.
And we all love Joe.
Yes, yes. He's an awesome, awesome moderator for a lot of people, and he's got a great channel too. Um, Virginia said, Ginger, my dad is from Elkton, Virginia, 30 minutes from Waynesboro. Oh, nice. Look at all these. Look at how we're all connected.
Yeah.
Isn't that cool? But he said, you should start a channel. And I was like, what? And he said, yeah, you should start a YouTube channel and just film everything that you're doing. I didn't know squat from squat. I think it was Brenda at Freedom Redbird.
Mm-hmm.
I got in with, got to watching a couple channels, and she had commented on one of my videos, and she said, you probably want to do your videos portrait instead of, landscape instead of portrait. It's easier for people to watch them, and down the road, it's better for your channel. And I was like, oh, okay. So, I've picked up little tips just from people, that I've watched forever, and I still watch Brenda, go see Brenda and all that good stuff, and see her at the meetups. So, hey, there's Andale. Hey, Andale.
Hi, Anne. How are you?
Oh, yes. I do love that too, Holly. I love that too.
Yeah. So,
So
what year was
it's
that?
all history from there. I just started making videos of just things that I did around here, whatever it was, planting, cooking, My grandma's macaroni salad is one of my first videos. It's like the third or fourth one. And that's one of those recipes that's handed down to you. I can remember, I don't know if your family did this, but when we had family gatherings, when I lived in Virginia till I was about 6 years old, and then we moved to Florida. But when I was little, all the kids were all running around the house, all the cousins and everything. We'd have a big family meal, and then they would just throw a bed sheet over the table.
Yep.
And then later on, people would come by and they'd pick out from underneath, but you kind of just ate on that all day long. And
Yeah.
nobody ever got sick.
Nobody ever got sick.
No, they didn't.
Nope. And they'd sit there for hours.
Yes, hours. And my grandma always made macaroni salad, and that was her specialty. That was her thing. So I think when I was about 19 or 20, I went back to Virginia with my dad. I mean, we went several times, throughout the years and everything. But one time when I was a little bit older, I'd moved away and left home and everything. My dad said, I'm going. Do you want to go? He and my stepmother. And I was like, sure. So I went back with them and I said, Grandma, nobody has the recipe for your macaroni salad, your famous macaroni salad. I want you to sit down and show me how you make this. So she was like, okay, come on. So she showed me. And ever since then, I have committed it to memory. My kids love it. They make it. We always have it.
It's really important to write them down as much as, because my granddaughter has done the same. Grandma, you have to write me out a list of recipes and how to cook all the things that you cook. So she's asking me, you were asking your grandmother, they really do want that. And I would have loved to have had some of my grandmother's recipes. She taught me a lot. But there's some that she never taught me how she made, and so I would have loved to have had those recipes.
Oh, yes, me too. My grandmother could make a mean dinner roll. I have no idea how she did it. The woman could not make a biscuit to save her life, but she could make a mean dinner roll. And I've tried. I think it was just a combination of the humidity in Virginia, and and she had been doing it for years and years, and she knew how to make dinner rolls, and they were nice, big, fat dinner rolls. You didn't get a little skinny one, a little triangle or a little.
They had those really nice,
yes,
fluffy,
yes,
buttery.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. I had some great memories in her house.
Awesome. So, tell us about some of your early memories of when you were probably in your younger years, as a child.
Well, I guess most of it is, we moved from Virginia, which was a very different climate than Florida. Then when we moved from Virginia, we were kind of very grounded, very family oriented, did a lot of stuff with the family. When we moved to Florida, my dad bought a service station. He was a mechanic. He was actually in the Air Force. And then after he got out of the Air Force, when they lived before I came to pass, and they lived in Virginia, he was a firefighter in the interim. So then he decided to move to Florida. So to be my mom's both of her sisters live in Florida. So we moved back there, and it was very different. We'd only come back to Virginia like once a year, and it was always during hunting season. He'd always take the whole week of Thanksgiving off, and we would go see my grandma, and he would go hunting for probably, I don't even know how many, probably 5 of the 7 days. And I remember we used to have a big, huge RV, And I always liked to, and it had those long triangle kind of speakers, and I would put both the speakers on either side of my ear and
Yeah.
lay on the floor and listen to the music. I mean, that was like a, gosh, it was like a 16, 17
Triangle
hour drive.
speaker.
They were huge. They were massive
Hi,
speakers.
Paula and Jason.
I'm
That's
surprised I
funny.
can even hear these days.
Yeah.
So, and then what we would do is we would, go to like Marineland and SeaWorld, and didn't go to Disney World very much, maybe once in a while, but we always like kind of the water park type theme things.
Yeah.
And then from there, I just stayed in Florida, pretty much my whole life.
What was school like for you? Elementary school.
It was, I mean, it was okay, I guess. Let's see, I went to visit my friend in first grade. I went to visit my friend after school, and I didn't tell anybody, my friend Denise, and I went over to her house, and my mom went to pick me up, and she was like, "Where's Ginger? Where is Ginger?" She goes, and I still remember my teacher's name was Mr. Russell. And I don't know. I thought she went out, and then of course all panic sets in, and then these little kids are walking by, and she's like, "I don't know where Ginger is." She goes, "Oh, Ginger went home with Denise today." So then Mr. Russell and my mother get in a car, and Denise doesn't live very far from the school, so they went to Denise's house, and boy, I knew I was in trouble.
Yeah, I bet. I bet.
I did not ask permission, but I sent her into a panic. That, and then, when we would go back to Virginia on the vacations, always loved that. It was always really cold, and I got to see my grandma. And then it got to where I would go hunting with my dad. So those were some really special times to go hunting with him. And
Yeah, those are some of the things that I remember most, hunting with my dad.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it was a lot of fun. So, and then, like middle and high school was just like really awkward, just really awkward.
Yeah,
I was.
agree.
In high school, I was part of FBLA and CBE, which is Cooperative Business Education, and FBLA is Future Business Leaders of America. And we went to state competition for shorthand. I was in shorthand class. They don't use shorthand anymore. Some people do. Actually, I think I got a recipe from Virginia Alexander. She sent it to me that she had written down, and I saw some shorthand in there, and I was like, I don't remember what that means, but that's shorthand. I remember. But they sent 3 of us from our school for shorthand, and we placed 1st, 3rd, and 5th. It was the weirdest thing, and it was so much fun. So anyways, that was kind of me. I wasn't like, a cheerleader or Miss Popular or anything like that. Yeah.
I am so sorry if I yawn. I'm trying not to. I was up. I got to tell you this story real quick. So at 2:00 in the morning, my livestock guarding dogs they're out back, and the sheep are out front, and they're barking and barking and barking, but they're barking towards the front. So I get out, I go running out with a flashlight that doesn't work, in my pajamas, barefooted, out front, standing out front, and I'm shining. I see the sheep are in a circle closer to me, and there's like 7, 8 coyotes in the pasture behind them. All their little beady eyes walking across there. And I didn't have anything. I couldn't have done anything anyway because it's out front and there's a highway. And so I'm like screaming and jumping up and down. I mean, literally screaming and jumping up and down at 2 o'clock in the morning, looking like an idiot, thinking, "Oh my gosh, somebody sees me," and those coyotes, they just looked at me. I mean, I'm thinking they're going to come after me.
They're gonna call the cops on you. There's a
So
lunatic.
then I was having a hard time going to sleep. I know. So I apologize. Then I was up early at 6.
No, it was that we had a bad storm come through last night, and
Oh, wow.
between the hard rain and the thunder and lightning, it woke me up like 4 times, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, am I ever going to be able to sleep more than a 1 hour interval here? This is crazy."
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, she said, "Sorry, Ginger, it was probably nurse's abbreviation, so that could have been it." And I think Jan wasn't. What was it, Jan? Jan asked me what was my favorite class in high school. We did do back then you had home ec, and I actually really liked cooking in home ec, and half of it was cooking, like the first and second semester was cooking and learning how to cook. The second semester was sewing. And so I actually really enjoyed home ec, and I enjoyed my shorthand class too.
I thought home ec was great, but we combined ours with wood shop. So
okay.
And I love that, because how many girls during that time got to do that? So it was really neat for us. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And see,
Heather has a question.
P&J Homestead said Ginger short with the straw and Heather in the truck was so funny. I did a short earlier today because I have popsicle head Heather. I'm not sure if you know about her.
Oh, you have it.
She's making her way around the U.S. Yes. And so I guess I have to wait for Gail to let me know where I need to send her next. But in the meantime, I have done 2 shorts with popsicle head Heather, and I have her working around the farm.
So there you are, Heather. Heather wants to know where did the name Ginger come from?
Let's see. My dad, my mom went to the hospital, to have me. And my mom said she wanted something. They had been back and forth about what my name was going to be. My dad loved Annette Funicello from the Mickey Mouse Club. And so he was like, Annette, Annette, Annette. And he left to go get my mother something. And the nurse came by and said, "Okay, what's the baby's name?" And she said, "Ginger."
How funny.
That was her pick. And it was because she said when I was born, my hair was the color of ginger.
Yeah.
So, and I actually have a redheaded daughter. And when she tells people her mother's name is Ginger, they laugh. They're like, "You're joking. There's no way." And she's like, "No, I'm actually telling the truth. My mom's name is Ginger." So that is where that came from.
Wow. So there you go, Heather. Any other questions you want to ask?
She said, I'm a cheap guest, is what Heather said. Heather needs to clean the chicken coop. No, I already did that. She and I did that together. I did not film that. Virginia said her nickname was Ginger growing up. Now, a lot of people asked me that as I was growing up. They would say, I worked at Winn-Dixie. That was like my first job, and you have to wear a name tag and that disgusting baby blue polyester uniform, pants and shirt. Bleh. And everybody would say, is that your nickname? Is your real name Virginia? And I'm like, no, but I am from Virginia. But no, my name is Ginger, just Ginger.
That's what I like that name.
Yeah. Thank you.
So what was your favorite activity to do when you were in high school?
I loved roller skating.
Do I hear baby chicks?
No, you hear my ducks.
They're so cute.
They're usually very quiet, but we did something new today, graduated them, and I'm making a video. I have like an hour and a half of footage that I'm trying to go through. So that'll probably come out soon. Yeah, they're excited. They've had a very eventful day today, and they've had a very fun day today. We'll just put it that way. They're my little stinkers. I'm telling you, do you have ducks?
I have 2.
They have such personalities.
They really do. I have a little mallard female, and then I have a little white duck. We call her Ming Ming too, and the other's an Orny.
Oh. Now,
Well,
what kind of ducks are they?
One is a little mallard, and one is the little white ducks, whatever they are. I don't know what they are.
Is that I think that's the kind of duck that Joey wants. He's seen now that we have these, he absolutely loves them. And so do I. And he's like, everybody has these ducks, but they don't lay eggs. And I was like, okay, everything's got to have a purpose around here, Joey. And we have magpies. And I said, the magpies lay eggs. If we're not eating them and they don't lay eggs, and he said, no, but they make such cute pets. And I'm like, we got enough pets.
Yeah. You do know that magpies, I had a magpie fall out of a tree over top of our pigs one time.
Oh, no.
And its nest fell out, and we were able to rescue 1 or 2 of the babies. And then one of them died, but the one we kept, and we kept in the house and until it was going to be old enough to fly away. Well, I always had jazz music playing during the day, and this magpie started whistling jazz music. It would learn words. I mean, it was just crazy. I didn't even know that was possible.
They're so smart.
Yeah, it just started. It was so much fun, and then we had to let it go. But it was so much fun.
Yes, these guys.
The kids were little.
They're so awesome. I actually do. I'm already so attached to them, and they're my new pets. They really are. I know I got them because of the eggs, and then the vineyard chicks, Trey, she's just so. Her love for ducks just spilled over into me, and I was like, I was wanting ducks. I had inquired several different people. And for as young as she is so knowledgeable about ducks, and she freely imparts that knowledge on everybody. Anybody that wants to talk about them, she loves to talk about ducks. Yeah. And so she was really the tipping point. That's when awesome. She just started going, giving more and more information in their lives. Then I was like, I got to get ducks. I do see that Jan said, who is your favorite fan that is never awake when you go live, Ginger? And that would be Jan. Jan.
I was going to guess Jan.
Or it could be Heather. Because
nap time. I do the same thing. Nap time. Sorry, ladies.
Yeah. No, I'm such a difference in time zones between, not so much Jan. I think Jan and I are only an hour difference.
Yeah.
I have Craft and Chat every Thursday morning. So tomorrow morning I'll be live at 10 a.m. And Jan, I thought you were getting up earlier these days. Didn't you tell me that not too long ago? I'm getting up earlier, Ginger. I'm not sleeping in. Get your butt into Craft and Chat, girl.
Penny wants to know, do you play in any instruments?
I used to. Before I had surgery on my hand, I had basal joint arthritis. And so if you look at my hands, you see this little knot, the bottom of your wrist. They had to completely take it out of this wrist. Yeah. And they actually cut my arm here. So it looks like, I tried to do something crazy to myself. Cut my arm. They cut my hand here. And, they cut it here and here, took a tendon from here and put it in there. Oh, wow. So they basically rebuilt my hand. I'm a bionic woman. So before that, I used to play the guitar. Yes. So I was in a rockabilly band for a while, and that was a lot of fun.
How fun.
Yep.
How fun. Does anyone have other questions that you want to ask?
Jessie said Ginger would never go to work without wearing all her buttons and name tags. Yes, you're right, Jessie.
How many children, Heather wants to know, do you have?
Oh, Heather, I was popping them out left and right. No, I'm kidding. We have 4. And the younger 2 are a set of twins, Heather. And if I had had the twins first, the other 2 would never be in existence. Guys, they literally wore me out and made me almost insane.
I bet twins are, yeah.
They actually run in my family. So my grandmother had twins. So the fact that they say it skips a generation, it actually happened to me. And yes, that's me, Derek, bionic woman. So yeah, when I had twins, they said, now you know that the chances of you having multiples are very high in any future pregnancies. I'm like, multiples as in, they said twins, triplets, quadruplets. I'm like, no, stop right there. Okay, this is it. We're done. We're done. So we have our oldest, he is 33. And then Megan, that's RJ. And then Megan is no, actually he'll be 34 this year. Megan is 30, and then the twins are 25. So there's a little bit of difference there. Yeah. The older 2 were like my runners. Go get me diapers. Go get me another wipe. Go get me this, and they were very, very helpful. So
that's awesome.
What is my favorite YouTube channel?
Is he testing you?
I guess. I guess he's testing me. Whoa, sorry, I didn't mean to kick the table there. Yeah, Joe Fix It For You is my favorite YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. Do you play any instruments, Linda?
I do. I play drums and keyboard a little bit. Yeah, piano.
Oh, you and Jesse have a lot in common. He's a little drummer boy.
Yeah, I love drumming, and I actually played. I went to University of Washington for 2 years and played in the University of Washington Symphony and their concert band and marching band while I was there, because I was studying music at the time, and then I switched out my my degree to sociology, and so yeah, went from music to sociology. So
that is awesome. I see that.
Jamie says she plays tiddlywinks.
I used to like to play tiddlywinks and marbles too at recess. Heather asked how many children, and then she asked how many animals. And Joey said, that's a trick question, Heather, because some of our children are animals.
Yeah.
Crazy, yes. So I can't even tell you how many chickens I have. Chicken math is a real thing. I'm going to say probably 15, 16 chickens. We have 3 ducks. Those are new to the homestead. And then we have Misty, our beagle. And then we have 2 dogs that we're dog sitting right now. Jan said I can play chopsticks.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
that's funny. My first job. Yeah. First job was cashier at Winn-Dixie. Yep.
Cashier Winn-Dixie.
Yeah.
Jennifer says she's going to be watching for Jan's, where is it? For Jan's video on playing chopsticks.
Yeah. We want to see that, Jan. We want to see it live.
Oh, I
Thank you so
love.
much. Robin said, I'd love craft and chat. I'll try to make it. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
So, what are some of your favorite? What were some of your favorite activities as you were, in your teens in Florida?
Oh, gosh. I don't know. I'm going to tell you, I didn't, there wasn't a lot of like out. I didn't do, I mean, we had a pool. So on the weekends, I spent the weekend in the pools. We'd have pool parties with, the neighborhood kids and some of my other friends. And then we'd go to the skating rink on Friday and Saturday nights. And, all the moms were all too happy to just drop the kids off. I
Yeah.
always loved those all night skates where you could spend the night at the skating rink. That was really cool. But yeah, skating was my thing. I loved to skate. And it was also, it was great exercise. But the day I turned 16, I got my driver's license, I got my first job, and I got my first loan for a car.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, my 16th birthday was pretty eventful. And after that, I just worked, went to school, graduated a little bit early because I graduated with my class, but I didn't have to go the last half of my senior year because I was in FBLA. You can get a job, and that counts as credits if you have enough credit, academic credits. So at one point, I was just going the beginning of the day, and then halfway through, I left. I had a part-time job. And so I'd go to that. And then towards the end of when the second semester, when the third semester started, I had all the credits I needed. So then I got another job through FBLA. So I had one part-time job, and then I would go home, eat lunch, and go to the next part-time job. So looking back, I wish I had done that because I missed all those activities at school. But yeah, I was just, going after the almighty dollar at that point.
Wow.
Yep.
Were you a good kid?
Pretty good for the most part. I, tried to not to get into any trouble, but I flew under the radar. We'll put it that way.
Okay, you were sneaky. That's what I was going to ask next. Okay, so you're a good kid either because you were sneaky or because you were just a good kid.
Yeah. I knew better on some things, and I was like, nah, I'm not going to push my envelope on that. I had my share of restriction. We'll put it that way. I skipped class a couple of times, and I wasn't the greatest kid, but I wasn't like out there terrorizing the streets either. I just did those normal, being, seeing how far you could push the envelope with your parents kind of kid.
Scotty says that's how Joey found you. She was in big trouble.
Yeah. Probably so. Virginia said they have twins on both sides of their family. Oh, wow. Virginia and I have so much in common. That is so crazy.
And Jan said that she lived in her skates every Saturday. And Heather says she loves ice skating.
I went ice skating. Joey and I went ice skating on our honeymoon. And I could barely stand up. It is so completely different than roller skating. Completely different.
It really is. It really is. Yeah, and it depends on the skates that you put on. If you putting on, my first experience with ice skating was with hockey skates.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, and I mean that's all we had is some hockey skates that somebody had given me, and so I was like, that was my first experience, and it really wore my ankles because
Mm,
of the way you have to stop on the hockey skates as opposed to the other skates.
yeah. Um, Heather had asked, how did I meet Joey? We actually met through friends, but we both toured a local urban cowboy-ish kind of bar on the weekends. And so two-stepping was the thing, and listening to the band. That was always, it was called JR's, and we always loved JR's. So it was a lot of fun. That was my younger days, though. Don't do that anymore.
Jennifer wants to know, did you ever buy or build anything your husband didn't know about?
Oh, I'm sure I bought lots of things.
Yeah, no, Jennifer, are you saying that because I did that when I bought the land without telling my husband
Oh wow, no,
to surprise him?
no, I didn't do anything like that. No,
Oh my
oh
goodness,
no.
yeah,
Oh,
I
that's
did do
funny.
that.
And I'm assuming that eventually he forgave you.
Yeah, he did. He did. I was
Okay.
doing it for him. I was trying to build him a house so he could retire and we could sell our other house and just surprise him because he was close to retirement. So I thought, oh, what a wonderful gift.
Yeah.
And the Bible says, what does the Bible say about a virtuous woman? She gets up and she goes and buys land.
Yep. She said I was literal.
There you go. I said, honey, she goes and buys a field. I bought a field.
Oh, Scotty said he was your John Travolta and you were his sissy. Yep, that was it. That was
That's
it.
awesome.
Yes, Derek, you already knew that. I am sneaky. I did. I convinced him to get into a collaboration that I did. I think it was actually my very first collaboration I ever hosted was the Chili Smackdown. And Derek was a big supporter of channels, and I was like, and he said, one of these days I'm gonna start making videos, and I was like, come on, you can do it, you can do it. And then he did a couple of shorts, and I said, come on, you did it, that you're that far, you're that close, Derek. Let's do this, let me put you on the schedule. And I did, and he made some awesome chili. So, and look at him now. He's all grown up doing videos all the time. He's like an old hat at it in front of the camera now.
That's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome. What
Yep.
year did your channel start? Heather wants to know.
Oh gosh. Maybe Joey could help me out with it. It's only been like 3 years. It was after my dad passed, and he passed in 2019. So I know it was a couple years after that, because I was still, that one hit me hard, really hard when I lost my dad. Yeah, I was real close to him. So was Joey. And it just, it sent us for a tailspin for a while. It's hard to resonate that somebody's gone.
It is.
That you're that close to. And so, yeah, it took a while.
It really is. Yeah.
It set us both back on our heels. So I know it's a couple years after that, but I'm going to say it's not been more than 3 years. And we're in 2025. Yeah. Before that, like everybody else, I had a channel, because you have to watch YouTube videos and to make comments and stuff. So I had a channel, and in the very beginning, it was just my name. And then, about a year later, I changed it to a nickname. And then, when Joey said, start your channel, and I was like, what am I going to call it? My dad used to call me Huzzy Rip. That was my nickname when I was little. And he said, well, you could call it. So he said something like Huzzy's Adventures or something like that. And I'm like, Yeah, but not everybody's gonna know. That's not a bad thing because my stepmother, when the first time she heard my dad call me Huzzy, she was like, Jerry, I can't believe you just called your daughter a hussy. And he was like, no, that's been her nickname since she was like walking.
That's
It's just
funny.
Huzzy Rip. She was just a little rip. And so he called me Huzzy Rip. So I said, nah, I better think of something else. And I'm not sure why or how. I can't remember exactly. But, my dad did used to say all the time, not for nothing, we're going to da-da-da-da-da, and so it was kind of like a saying in my head. And I was like, what about that? Not for nothing Homestead. So funny because now all the time I hear people say, not for nothing, but, and I'm like, no, they're not talking about me. I know they're not. They're just saying that so I'm not the only one that knows that saying.
Virginia said she must have looked it up. May 12th, 2020.
Okay, there you go. Thank you, Virginia. Yes, my Jeep is called Huzzy Rip. So, but that's because here in Georgia we have Jeep Fest, and you get all the best of the best Jeeps, right? They're all jacked up, and they got light bars, and they've got KC lights, and they've got big tires, and they're all these crazy looking colors, and you've got the Terminator, the Goober, they all have names. When you have your Jeep, when you get a Jeep, you got to put your name on it. It's just a thing. It's a Jeep thing. You also collect ducks. So another reason why I love ducks.
So funny.
But yeah, so my duck is called Huzzy Rip. I mean, my Jeep is called Huzzy Rip. Sorry.
Huzzy Rip. Huh?
Yeah, Huzzy Rip. Yeah, my dad said I guess I was like 3 or 4 people would come up and they would say, hey, what's your name? And I'd say Huzzy Whip because I really thought that was my name.
All the mechanics.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead. You can read it.
No, I was reading Jan's, do you have ducks on your dashboard, Ginger? Girl, I do. I do. I got them all along the front. I got a big blue one too. Usually you just get the little ones when people duck your Jeep. But I have a big blue one. I actually got that as a present from Joey. He's
so,
all
the mechanics are on call 24/7 during Jeep Fest.
Oh, they are. And last year we were one of those recipients of a mechanic. There's a little part in your shifter that is, I guess, notorious for popping. It's just plastic and it pops off. And we were actually riding down the road. We decided to stop in and get some lunch. I went to turn into a parking spot and we were literally dead in the water. Wow. And I was like, okay, we're like just sitting here in the middle of the parking lot, like blocking people going this way and this. Yeah. I'm like, I'm driving and Joey's like, well, Joel, try to put it in reverse. And I'm like, there's nothing. I have nothing, Joey. No forward, no backward. I'm in neutral. I'm stuck there. And there was actually a shop that we've used several times in walking distance. And I ran over there and actually got a guy, and he came over and he said, okay, I don't want to die today, but I'm getting under this Jeep and I'm going to actually manually put you in reverse. Oh, wow. You reverse all the way back into one of our bays in the shop. And Joey did that. And he didn't kill the guy. So, yeah. And so they just had to fix that little plastic piece. But we spent the rest of that afternoon, instead of at Jeep Fest, in the mechanic shop. So
Jennifer's dying to know where you got your super flashy cup. It's blindingly gorgeous and she wants to get one.
Thank you. It's a Stanley. Got it from what is that? Dick's Sporting Goods. Thank you. And that has a Miss Lisa. Don't be jelly. I've had Miss Lisa's jam. It looks perfect. It matches because she's got on a
So
bright
cute.
pink shirt.
Yeah.
And then my handle is bright pink and my straw is bright pink. So, yeah.
And walking in rivers and roots.
Hey, Josh, how are you? He's listening while he's driving home. Awesome. They live in Alaska, and
Wow.
he's from Alabama.
Oh, wow.
And so we're waiting because I think they're going to get things settled in and sell their house and move back to Alabama. So we're ready to bombard him with a meetup as soon as he gets back here.
How exciting. How exciting.
Yeah.
Are they moving back because Alaska is too cold, too hard, or too expensive, or
I think it's
not
pretty far.
getting?
I think his family lives in Alabama, so he's moving back close to his
Okay.
family. But I think just based on, I don't know exactly the reasoning, but based on kind of what I've heard him talk about and say, they just miss living there.
Yeah, yeah. I think I'd have a hard time in Alaska because I've lived in different climates out in Washington State and Oregon and Idaho, and out here where it's hot and humid, and uh, in Georgia, Georgia was about like here. It's a little hotter, but it's about the same. Sandier, more spiders, different, more venomous snakes, but
Yeah, I haven't run into anything yet, but I know that a lot of my fellow Georgian gardeners and YouTubers, I've seen a couple that have run into
yeah,
the dreaded copperhead. That's what we have all over
we have
down here.
those here, but they had signs up when I went to the military. When I'd go out to the military base, they'd have signs all over talking about all the venomous snakes that they always have these signs posted on the base,
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah. They're pretty great. Were you in the military in Georgia?
No,
Were you
my
stationed?
husband was, yeah.
Okay.
We were
Yeah.
just there for 3 or 4 months.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
We moved up here in 20. We bought the property. I think the other day we decided we bought it in 2016, I think is when we bought it. And we absolutely love it up here. We do. And this is actually where my dad lived like 45 minutes north of where we are right now. And that's kind of what brought us up here. We started coming up here, and we got to that point where, Gainesville is a different kind of town. It's got the University of Florida. It's a big college town. And I was like, I'm just really over it. And he was too. And we came up here to visit my dad a couple times. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. The mountains are beautiful. The air is so much cleaner. I can see all the stars. And so we fell in love with it and came up here and bought property. And we love it here.
Yeah, Jennifer, she says, I'd rather snow and cold than snakes and alligators and scorpions and man-eating spiders.
Well, I don't think I have the scorpions or the man-eating spiders. Oh, no,
There's scorpions. There's scorpions there.
I haven't come across any, but I have.
They usually come out at night, though. You probably do.
I am actually too far north for alligators.
Yeah.
So I don't get the alligators. But yeah, there are spiders, but they're the same ones that we had when we were in Florida. They're those banana spiders that they're like this making the web, and then it looks like a heartbeat symbol when they're starting to do it. It's really crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, Robin said that's the only reason I'm afraid to move out of Jersey. We don't really have any poisonous snakes that we ever see. Up in North Jersey has more. Yeah. What Watch, tomorrow I'm going to go out and I'm going to see a copperhead. Just come
Yeah,
by.
I know. I've already seen 2 this year, so I'm like, I don't want to see any more.
Yeah, and I've been digging around twice now. Today was my second time getting honeysuckle.
Yeah.
So sometimes I get it from the, wherever the vine goes, if it's up in the tree or down on the ground. And I'm thinking, yeah, I'm pushing my luck with that honeysuckle hunting. But I've got enough to make. I've already made 2 batches. That's what I was going to ask you, this little jamming contest at the meetup.
Yeah, you got to enter this jam
Well,
it up.
they're not going to be
You
able to come, but what could I mail them to Jan?
Yes, you can mail them to Jan or to myself or to Gail. Yeah, 2 jars. And
Yeah.
1 jar will be given away.
Okay.
And one jar, it will be the one that we use to test, for everyone to
Taste test. Okay. Sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have your friend with you, Ginger. Yeah, I do. I have my friend with me pretty much all the time now because the wabbits are out as well. And they like my garden just as much as I do. But I don't want them to have it.
Yeah, I know.
I'm trying to
Yeah,
save it for myself.
Joe wants to know what your most embarrassing moment on the homestead.
Oh, gosh. I don't know. I can't. I'm sure he could probably think of something.
Okay,
I know.
Joe.
He's probably got something in mind.
Okay, I'm going to have Joe on, in a couple of weeks.
Okay.
And Joe, you can reveal it all, okay?
Yeah.
That would be awesome to have you on in a couple of weeks.
I don't know. I don't know that I've done anything that's crazy, embarrassing. And I know Joey's done a couple of things. He fell off a pole and landed on his back, and I was at work and our son didn't know if he was dead, and he ran out and he was like, Dad, should I call Mom or should I call 911? He said, Joe, just leave me here. Just give me a minute to gather my thoughts and my pride, and I'll get up. And
How funny. How funny.
yeah, I've gotten what?
Derek.
We're
going Did you poot in during the video?
No, I did not do that. Absolutely not.
Joe said you heard
them, Derek.
You guys, you're cracking me up.
Yeah, Joe is the first one that'll tell you. And Linda, I'm sure. I mean, this is a country girl thing. You know, I get home and I've been out, I've been doing errands. I got to open the gate. I got to get through the gate. Then I got to get out of the truck and close the gate behind me. And then I got to get to the house. And by this time, I've got to go. And I usually just cop a squat at the gate because I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to make it. And I would rather do it right here than in my pants. Okay. So,
I hear you.
It's been
the same for me out back.
There's woods all around me, all over. There's woods everywhere, and you can't see anything. Nobody can see me, and I'm in front of the truck. So, come on, guys, it's my driveway. I can pee on it if I want to. I guess.
Exactly.
Oh,
well,
sorry.
We are at an hour, and it's been so fun just talking with you and laughing. It was hilarious.
Yeah, that was a great little trip down memory lane there.
Yeah.
Yes,
that's why I love this little particular series, whatever you want to call it, this live series. Yeah,
that is awesome. That is awesome. Thank you very much, Linda.
Well, thank you very much.
I really enjoyed it.
I really enjoyed having you come on. You know, I think it's just so neat because you get to know people a lot better than just seeing them when you ask these specific questions, you know.
Yeah. And some of the crazy things they do.
Yeah, and you realize people are people. We all do those crazy things and we all poot.
Exactly.
So
It's-
there you go.
It happens. Poot happens.
Oh, but I want to thank everybody for coming in and supporting this tonight. And I especially want to thank you, Ginger. You are an incredible woman, and
Thank you.
I just am grateful that you agreed to come on here. And Joe, I'm serious when I say I want to have you on here. I mean, I think it would be a
He's
blast.
a hoot. He is a hoot. I will tell
Yeah.
you that he does travel for work a lot. So if you don't get a definite, that's why, because he is a lot of traveling. So
Well, if he has time, he knows is available. He can, you know, some Wednesday night at 8, and he
Yeah.
can just send me an email, and I'll get him scheduled.
yes,
Okay.
that sounds good. Well, thank you very much for having me on, and thanks everybody. I hope to see you all at Craft and Chat tomorrow morning if you're awake, Jan.
And send your jam. Send your jam.
Yes, I will.
And if there's anybody else out there that can't go that want to enter the jam contest, go ahead and send it to me or Jan or Gail or whoever. Okay. Because I think it would just be a lot of fun.
Yes.
Besides that, we'll just eat it.
No, hey, that's fine with me. Listen,
Yeah.
I love to spread the love of honeysuckle jam. It's
that would be
make it
just
once
awesome.
a year, and that's the reason why this year I ran out last year. So I was like, that's not going to happen this year. Not going to happen. I'm going to stockpile every chance I get. I'm going back out there. So I've already made 2 rounds. And I've picked almost enough today to make another 2 rounds. So I'll have enough to share.
That'll be awesome.
Yeah.
That'll be awesome. I'd love to try it. I would really love to try it.
It's so good. It's so good. Oh, that's so sweet, Penny. Thank you very much.
Jennifer says she'll peel the sticker off Miss Lisa's jam and write.
Wait, that's plagiarism. Jennifer, that's plagiarism.
Yeah. Well, everyone, thank you again. And I just want to say good night and hope you have a wonderful evening and the rest of the week. I'll see you next Wednesday.
All right.
Bye-bye. Bye.
We had a dream many years ago to live life away from it all, to have some sheep, maybe a cow or 2 with cats and dogs and goats and an occasional moon. With our love for God, we can't go wrong. Our love can only continue to grow strong. Doesn't matter the difficult roads, it's true. For we have each other and love will carry us through. We came from another time, a time when dreams were bold, another time when values took hold. Couldn't give up hope, for it was always there. Another time we fared to do.
Say hi. Hi. Wait.
We came from another time, a time when dreams were bold, another time when values took hold. You couldn't give up hope, for it was always there. Another time we fared. Another time when values took hold. You couldn't give up hope, for it was always there. Another time we fared.
Took the time in the tent with me and the kids and the feed. I'm at it again.